Palantir stock is up 136% in the past 1 year. A lot of folks have made a lot of money off this stock. I know countless that have made thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars from Palantir stock now at this point in time. And so this leaves an opinion out there from some folks that the opportunity is gone in this one. It's gone up a lot, so therefore the money's already been made, right? The easy money, it's already passed now at this point in time in regards to Palantir. The gains have already happened. It doesn't make sense to buy the stock in the 20s. Those sorts of thought processes, right? And I can understand that because when a stock's gone up a lot and a lot of people have made a lot of money, right? Up $71,000 on the Palantir shares in the public account, it leads people to that sort of thought process, right? But in this video here today, I'm here to explain why this is just stage one of a multi-year move that is going to happen in Palantir stock. And I'm going to go very in detail in this video here today, okay? So I hope you guys enjoy this one. I'm going to name this video something like Buy Palantir Stock and Don't Stop, okay? So listen, I prepared this video last night for you guys as far as the slides went till like 1 a.m. All I need from you, it takes you less than 5 seconds to do this. Hit the like button on this video and make sure you're subscribed here to the channel. That's all I need from you guys. This is a beast of a video here today, and I appreciate each and every one of you joining me for this one here today, okay? If you're looking to apply, join my private group and join myself as well as another 1,000 plus serious long-term investors, check out the pinned comment down there, fill in an application, see if we can get you in this upcoming week, access to all my course curriculums and the Discord chat, okay? So, where I wanted to start out this story in regards to Palantir, okay, is this stock is actually down on a 3-year basis. Yes, I know that performance has been astronomically great for the past year, but the reality is this stock is down on a 3-year basis now at this point in time, okay? Now, there's a lot of reasons why the stock's down on a 3-year basis, but one of the big reasons is shortly after this company went public, we went into a massive, the biggest bubble market I've ever seen in my life at that particular time, right? And all everybody was looking at after the Rona crash was really only upside potential in regards to all stocks in the market, and pushed up valuations extraordinarily high at that particular moment, right? Compared to where companies were actually, where their business models were at, right? And so after that, then there was a very depressing cycle that happened for countless stocks, Palantir just being one of those, where you just had massive amounts of people sell shares as we got to the end of 2021 and especially in 2022 when rates just kept going higher and higher and higher and people didn't know where the Fed was going at the end of the day, right? And a lot of retail folks that maybe bought this stock in early 2021 or late 2020, you know, they sold those shares, right? Because the stock market attracted a lot of folks that really didn't belong in the market, right? They just kind of, you know, there was a lot of money sloshed out there, a lot of stimulus money, and people were just looking for, you know, places to put money in, you know, these sorts of stocks attracted folks. But think about where Palantir business model was 3 years ago versus today. And I'm here to show you what a difference. Check this out. So if we go back 3 years ago, this company was doing $340 million of revenue a quarter, right? If you look at their latest quarter they just posted, 3 years later, they're doing well over $600 million a quarter in revenue. So they've nearly 2x'd their revenue in just the past 3 years. So the revenue is dramatically more than it used to be back when the stock price was actually higher than it is today. Not only that, if you look at their net income, net loss, right? Check this out. If we go to 3 years ago, they were losing 9 figures plus a quarter on the bottom line. 9 figures plus a quarter, right? If you look at their latest quarter, they're now profiting net income 9 figures plus on the bottom line. What a flip for this company, right? If you looked at, I looked at Palantir 3 years ago. I did not like what I had seen at that particular time, right? It wasn't really till kind of later in 2022 that I really started to like what I saw because it looked like, oh, this company's going to flip to profitability. 3 years ago, people were sticking money in the stock, and it was highly risky at that particular time. When you're losing 9 figures plus a quarter, whew, that's no small amount of money, right? Now, on top of that, if we look to where the balance sheet was 3 years ago, it was in a way worse place than it is today. Today, it's one of the best balance sheets you'll find of any mid-cap, you know, maybe even borderline large-cap company out there. Look at this. Look at this. mean, the only places you'll really find better balance sheets than this is if you go to like the mega caps, right? Like the Metas and those sorts of companies, Nvidias, right? Amazon's. Like, it's hard to find a better balance sheet than Palantir, honestly, out there, outside of really mega cap. So if you go back 3 years ago or so, company had about $2 billion of cash and short-term investments. Now they have nearly $4 billion of cash and short-term investments. If we go back 3 years ago or so, total receivables was around $156 million. Now, latest quarter, total receivables just under $500 million, right? I mean, what a difference in the balance sheet over the past 3 years. Look at stockholder equity, right? Total equity has well over 2x over the past 3 years or so. You go back to a little over 3 years ago, $1.5 billion in total equity, now nearly $4 billion in total equity, right? So think about this for a moment, right? The stock's down on a 3-year basis, yet the revenue's around 2x higher, right? Now they have 9 figures plus in net income they're doing a quarter versus 3 years ago, they were losing 9 figures plus of a net loss, right? They have over 2x the stockholder equity that they had back then. And then additionally, on top of that, there's a proven executive team now at this point in time as far as running a public company. If you went back 3 years ago, they hadn't been proven yet, right? They hadn't gone through a tough time in their stock price. They hadn't, been public long enough at that time. Now, this company's been public for many years. We've seen them go through hype cycles. We've seen them go through pretty much depression cycles. I mean, the stock went all the way down, $6, $7 a share at that particular time. It is insane, right? And now the company has more growth levers all over this company than they've ever had at any time point before. And so we'll go through that in just a moment. But I want all that to sink in there because it's not very often that you can get a stock down on a 3-year basis, but the fundamentals of the company have gotten dramatically better, like night and day better. Not like, oh, it's improved a little bit. Like, this isn't even the same company practically on a financial front now at this point in time, right? And what would Warren Buffett tell you? Warren Buffett would tell you when you have an opportunity to buy a stock price when it's gone down a lot, yet the fundamentals of the company have gotten dramatically better, that is your sweet spot as an investor. That is your opportunity. That's like being a baseball player and you get, a perfect pitch in there and it's time to swing and let's hit a home run here, okay? That's very rare. You can get a stock down on multi-years, but the fundamentals have all gotten so much better for the company. Usually, if a stock is down on a multi-year basis, it's because the fundamentals of the company eroded. And it's like, wow, this company's just, their revenues are down, their net income's down, their margins are down, everything's down, right? The sentiment's down. No. When everything in the business gets better and the stock price is down, that is an opportunity, a real opportunity. Now, I said there's growth levers all over this company, right? Let me show you. So, AIP, this is the hype product. This is an exciting product that, Palantir's been doing these boot camps for this product, and it's absolutely incredible in terms of how much excitement this is really bringing around Palantir. And I'm not just talking about it from a stock perspective. I'm really talking about from a business fundamentals perspective. It took Palantir from being kind of like a little bit of a niche company to now it seems like everybody wants to see what Palantir has going on with AIP, and they're trying it out and they're getting tremendous results from this overall. And so, Karp describes the boot camps as like, it's like getting backstage at a rock show. It's absolutely incredible. And so this is a game changer fundamentally for Palantir because this, not just AIP product itself, but the attention it gets from other real large companies is, like borderline viral marketing, but without having to spend for that viral marketing. So that's the first thing. AIP is just like, and the thing with AIP, they're still learning how to monetize this thing. Like, and if you know anything about great products, right, and you really study Meta, for instance, Meta will always release a product, get it to big scale, and then they worry about monetization. And Palantir's taken a very somewhat similar approach with AIP. Get a ton of people interested for it, right? Get a lot of folks signed up for it, and then we'll monetize over time, right? And so AIP, you're not really getting to see necessarily the big numbers in terms of a financial front yet. For AIP, you're going to see the big numbers for AIP years from now. As years tick on, you'll see revenue pour in, you'll see profits pour in. This is really just a time period of just getting the company mass amounts of attention, mass amounts of people utilizing Palantir's product. And that's very important to understand that. It's not about just making all the money right now. It's about getting a ton of people into this ecosystem interested in Palantir, and then we'll worry about making money as the quarters tick on and as the years tick on in the future. Karp, it was a few quarters ago, he was interviewed, and he basically said, we'll figure out how to monetize it. We don't really have a plan. Wall Street hated that at that moment. They don't like to hear that, just to be quite frank. That was maybe 2-3 quarters ago now at this point in time. That scares them. But it's a meta-type philosophy, right? Release a product, have it go viral in that space, and then once you have a big scale, worry about monetizing it more and more over time. And if you've reached a big scale, there's going to be so much money to be made there, it's ridiculous, right? Now, in terms of the moneymaker, Foundry, right? This is a commercial product that is a real moneymaker for the company. If you're a large organization and, let's say you're a $2 billion run rate a year in revenue, right? You're some big food company or something like that. You're going to look at Palantir to help you out immensely, run your operations a lot better, a lot more efficient. And from what I understand in regards to Foundry, and this is very important, everybody understands this point, okay? From everything I understand with Foundry is whatever you spend on Foundry, you should get that back at least, if not a lot more. So essentially meaning if you spend, let's say you're a large organization, you spend $10 million a year with Palantir Foundry, which is it's actually not a large amount of money. Palantir's got an insane amount of customers that spend millions, tens of millions of dollars a year with them overall, right? $10 million a year, that you wouldn't even be in their top 10, 20 customers likely. So you spend $10 million a year. Whatever Palantir's helping you with should help you get at least a 2x ROI on that. Meaning essentially, if it's cost savings, is going to find at least like $20 million worth of cost savings a year. And that's a beautiful thing with that product. And so therefore, you want to stay signed up for that product. And you realize this is a superior product. It's going to save us a lot of money. Whatever we spend with Palantir, it's going to be small amounts. And so that's a beauty. That's a beauty with this product overall. And when it comes to Palantir, you think about the time period we're going through right now. Companies are watching their budgets, right? Which hurts Palantir from the perspective of companies are really tight with signing up for new products. So that kind of hurts them, but it also helps them a little bit in terms of, hey, if Palantir can make your business run a lot better and get you a positive ROI, it's money well spent in a time when companies are a little tight on budget, right? So little food for thought in regards to that. And when budgets do loosen up, I think it's going to help out Palantir as well, because a lot more companies will feel comfortable spending, because Foundry is not cheap. Palantir is not going to give you access to Foundry for, a small amount of money, right? So little food for thought in regards to that. Then they have Gotham and Apollo. These are more government-related products, more military-related products, right? And these products are still the big moneymaker for the company. They're still the big moneymaker for the company. These are very large businesses that have been built over a long period of time, right? These products really scaled out way before Foundry scaled out and way before AIP was even a thought process out there. And so when it comes to these products, they're the big money makers, relatively stable business model. This is not where the most exciting growth is for the company. And the government is in a bad spot, U.S. government and international governments, in terms of how much they've been spending and federal deficits and all those sorts of things. So this is just a stable, really good, it's still a nice growth engine for the company, but it's not the growth numbers you're going to see from the commercial side, and you're going to see from Foundry, and you're going to see from AIP. Those are the real growth. That's why I'm investing in the company. The government business and military business, these are more just like, they're helps overall. But the reason I'm investing in this company personally is because of Foundry, because of AIP and products like that. Not really for Gotham and Apollo, but they're very important. And at the end of the day, you just can't replicate what they have with Gotham and Apollo. If you could, like everybody, we'd go out there and do it, right? Now, they also have FedStart as well. And this FedStart, Palantir FedStart, is a SaaS offering eligible companies and startups looking to deploy software to the federal government. FedStart supports companies to FedRAMP to IL compliant, rapidly enabling acceleration in weeks or accreditation in weeks, right? So basically, if you're going to, let's say you're you've got a business, you've got a software or something, you want to sell it to the government or sell it to the military or something, right? You need to get these certifications, okay? IL5, IL6, right? And Palantir says it can take years and cost millions of dollars in consulting and engineering fees to get these sorts of certifications. It's the government and the military, they don't just give out these certifications to everybody, okay? That's not the way this works. It's ridiculously complicated to do this. FedStart can significantly accelerate time to market by eliminating the need for organizations to pursue accreditation on their own, right? And so Palantir is going to be able to help you basically get compliant. And you can go your own route and, potentially spend years or millions of dollars trying to do that, or you can use Palantir. And so it looks like how Palantir gets folks in, like, okay, Palantir's not going to do this for free, like they're going to have to want money, right? So it looks like you're going to basically kind of be put into the Apollo program, right? And into a FedStart environment. So remember we spoke about Apollo and Gotham here. So it looks like you'd be put into Apollo, and so that's likely how Palantir then monetizes from this whole situation, right? Because I don't think Palantir has all the time in the world just to say, oh, let's just help all these other companies just get accreditation. No, they're going to want to make money off of this in the end, right? And so that's just another growth lever for the company. And this is actually a relatively new growth lever. Like, they were just talking about this back in June 2023. That wasn't even a year ago, right? Not even 1 year old now at this point in time. So that opportunity long-term is large for the company. How large is hard to even put a number on it because it's such a new business. And so for brand new businesses, it's really hard to project, like, is this going to help the company's revenue $10 million a year, $100 million a year, $500 million a year? It's hard to put a number on it today, but there's no doubt that's a big opportunity for Palantir overall, right? Now, here's the deal, okay? I just ran you through AIP, Foundry, Gotham, Apollo, FedStart, right? But the important thing to understand is imagine the products and services this company's going to have 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, right? Products that we don't see in the marketplace today, right? Or expansions on AIP, expansions on Foundry, Gotham, Apollo, FedStart, right? So the company has upped their R&D budget considerably over the past year. They're now spending over $110 million a quarter on research and development, right? So they're going to get up to close to $500 million run rate for research and development now at this point in time, right? Now, the beautiful thing with that is Palantir can launch new products and services, right? Those new products and services, i.e., obviously AIP, right, is a great example. You launch that product service, right? You attract more customers, you're going to attract more money, which then if you have more money, you can spend more on R&D, which is exactly what Palantir is doing, right? It's not like they're decreasing their R&D budget. They're upping, like $20 million extra a year. You're going to be able to pay a lot more employees for that R&D, right? More on R&D, which then allows you to launch more new products and services, which then allows you to attract more customers and more money, which then allows you to put that money back into more R&D, right? And so you get this just great kind of a cycle going of like new products are launched, boom, more money, boom, more R&D, which then more products, more customers, and it's a beautiful, beautiful cycle, right? Now, do we see any slowdown in this company in regards to that? No. I mean, this company's led by Alex Karp, right? If you know him, you know him. Man's got crazier hair than me when my hair is crazy. Right now, it's not too crazy. I got it kind of shaved up right now. But Alex Karp, he's a man on a mission. He's been leading this company since the beginning, and he's done a heck of a job. And there's no signs from Alex Karp of him taking his foot off the pedal in regards to the situation. He seems like he is on a mission. I think he got a lot more. Remember we spoke about the stock price collapsing, right? And going down in a massive, massive way. I actually feel like that lit a fire under Alex Karp and the whole management team. Not to say they weren't already engaged and didn't already have a fire burning in them, but I really feel like that really, really got them going. Like that stock price going all the way down to $6, $7, like the disrespect that was being thrown at Palantir at that particular time. There is still some disrespect, by the way, thrown at Palantir. I think some guys got a $5, $7 price target on Palantir. But I think it really lit a fire, and I think Karp and the team are more focused. I don't know if I can think of a management team that's more focused than them. And I own a lot of great companies, but I don't know if I can say there's any company I own that I could actually say the management team is more focused than Palantir. They're probably the most focused company in the world that I track right now. I can't think of one off the top of my head that I'm like, they're more focused than that. Nothing. And so that's special when you have that, right? And by the way, Karp, he's made a lot of predictions and they've almost pretty much all come true. This man years ago would go on interviews and talk about we're about to go into a more dangerous world. There's going to be more conflicts. There's going to be more problems. And sure enough, that's exactly what we've seen play out over the last couple of years. We've seen the world get more dangerous. There's more problems. There's more countries fighting, right? Boom. The back at that time, not a lot of people really took that serious. And now some people are like, dang, he was actually pretty on with that call. He was talking about the world's going to get less peaceful. And dang, people thought, oh, no, it's just going to get more and more peaceful. And now people are like, dang, you know what? I think this Karp's on to something, at this point in time. Now, these are projections I made for my bull case last year, okay? So at that particular time, I had the company growing about 27% on average over the coming years. I still believe in a bullish case, they're going to grow 27% revenues a year on average over these coming years. And the reason being is when I look at AIP, and that opportunity with Foundry, and then the solid businesses of Gotham and Apollo, plus FedStart, plus other opportunities, I see no reason why the company's not going to be able to grow somewhere around there. Karp used to talk about 30% plus, and I do have that for my ultra bullish case, but I don't want to pencil in 30%. I think 27% is a number they can do over the coming years. So that's going to mean Palantir is going to be at a run rate of $10 billion of revenue somewhere around 2029, 2030, in my opinion. That's when the company is going to actually cross a $10 billion revenue run rate, right? Now, in regards to net income, very modest numbers the company's going to put up in 2024. Modest, we'll see. And I might be low. Honestly, I think I am going to be low. These are numbers I did projections on. Last year, I had $231 million. I think they're going to be a lot higher than $231 million in net income this year. So I think I'm too low. So keep in mind, my net income estimates here for 2026, 2027 are likely too low. This company could end up doing $400 million in net income in 2024. $400 million, right? So they could be more, I could be a year behind. So it's very possible they do like a 427 this year, and they do like a 791 next year, and then they do like a $1.4 billion 2026. I should honestly up all my numbers and like redo all my projections because the story's gotten better from here. And I should maybe make that a whole video one day as well and update all my numbers. So this might end up actually being over here. But the moral of the story in regards to this, the reason I'm really showing you this is in 2026, in 2027, that's when the net income numbers start getting really, really exciting. Palantir just reached the infant stage of profitability, right? They just started hitting some actual net income positive numbers at the end of 2023, and they've built on that in 2024, right? And now all of a sudden 9 figures plus a quarter in positive net income. But those numbers are still relatively small compared to where this company is going to be 2026, 2027, 2028, when you're going to start to see billions of dollars rolling through on that bottom line. And so this is going to really, really get exciting in regards to that bottom line, okay? Now, Palantir's they're at the infant stage of this as well. Flywheel marketing, okay? Flywheel marketing is a cyclical model that focuses on customers and aims to keep them happy so they become loyal brand advocates, right? This is what Palantir's doing. And you might learn about flywheel marketing if you learn, anything in college and some business courses and marketing courses and things like that, right? And this is exactly, I think, what Palantir's having. You look at Palantir, when they do one of their big presentation shows, it's not just them talking about what their products can do and how their product can help. They actually have executives of other companies go on stage and talk about how Palantir's helped them, right? And this is immense because executives talk to other executives. These folks are all networked with each other. And so if Palantir's a game changer for company XYZ over here, the food company, right? And they're talking to, this person that runs a cosmetics company over here, right? And the cosmetics company is like, man, we're having trouble with our supply chains and this is cost us money and blah, blah, blah. And the guy that runs a food company that uses Palantir is like, well, why don't you guys use Palantir? You don't use Foundry? Like, here's what we use. Here's how we use it. Here's roughly how much it costs us, right? And boom, this is real life. This is what executives do. They talk to each other, right? Board of directors, folks, they talk to each other, right? And so when these folks are talking, if they have positive things to say about a product or a service, they're going to talk about it. If they have negative things to say, they're going to talk about it, right? And so Palantir seems like it's always had great customer satisfaction. So when people go to talk about Palantir to other executives, talking to executives, board of directors, talking to board of directors, it's going to be a very positive conversation, right? Also keep in mind, executives switch companies all the time. VP switch, presidents switch, right? CFOs switch, CEOs switch, COOs switch, CTOs switch. And so when these folks switch companies, if another company is not using Palantir, and that company comes from a place where they were using Palantir, they're also going to start having conversations like, wait, why are we not using Foundry? Why are we not using AIP? Why are we not using Palantir? This is what we had at my last company, and this helped us cut this much in savings here and this much here, right? Flywheel marketing, and this is good. What's going to really start to help Palantir immensely. Flywheel marketing, I think, has helped this company immensely over the years. Salesforce, right? Salesforce, what a company. Flywheel marketing at its finest. And if you look at Salesforce, when I first got in the market back in the day, right, 08, 09, this company was doing like $1 billion a year in revenue. Salesforce, right? Now the company does about $35 billion of revenue a year, right? Just in my investing lifetime here. Absolutely incredible. And I think they've really benefited massively from flywheel marketing in that, right? Look at the return for Salesforce over time. The stock is over 30x'd since I got in the market. What a performance. Flywheel marketing can be very, very, very valuable, right? So when I look at Palantir, yeah, it says $71,000 gain today. But I think if I look out 7-10 years from now, I think it's going to say and I hold all these shares, which I'm going to likely do. I think it's going to say $710,000 gain. I think this stock's going to say a 1,460% gain 7 to 10 years from now, not just 146%. Will every year just be up and away for Palantir? No, they're going to go through tough times. They're going to go through time periods where the stock runs an insane amount, then it pulls back, then it runs an insane amount, then it pulls back, right? And that's going to be the name of the game for Palantir. It's going to go through market crashes in the next 7 to 10 years. It's going to go through a whole bunch of dramatic things. But at the end of the day, what does it all add up to? Palantir probably 10xing or above from here, essentially, right? Which is significant. And for you as an investor, it's just important. You don't really want to mess with the stock in terms of, it goes up another 20%. Let me cash out because it might go down 20%. Let me buy back. That's a tough game to play. You don't play that game with great growth companies, okay? No. That leads us to valuation talk, which is really the only argument you can really make against Palantir. The fact is, in regards to Palantir, Palantir has become so strong, you can't say anything bad about this company unless it's valuation now. And we'll talk about valuation right now, okay? Can you talk about Palantir's income statement? No. They have 20% plus growth, top line. Their bottom line is exploding hundreds of percent year over year. They're now insanely profitable, right? On an operating basis, and if you factor in interest income. You look at the management team, they're a proven management team now at this point in time. What is my baby doing? Is he going to jump off that chair? Holy smokes, I don't know what's going to happen there. That doesn't look like a good situation there. Proven management team, multiple growth levers on this company. There's nothing bad you can say about it. They've been through dark days. They merged out, right? You've got nothing to say about Palantir. Even if the most bearish bears can say nothing bad about Palantir except this one thing, valuation, right? That's it. You don't have another argument for Palantir. That's strong. When you look at a company and you say a bear could not make an argument against this company other than one thing, that's pretty dang strong. So valuation, right? And people point this out, say it's an excessive valuation multiple, right? Well, so let's pull up 1000xstocks.com. This is my service I've been creating for a long time behind the scenes. If you want to apply for it, 1000xstocks.com, you can apply for it there, okay? Now, we built a lot of tools inside 1000xstocks.com, and we're continuing to build, right? But one of the tools is you can pair several different companies against each other in a ton of different metrics, and we're actually about to add a bunch more new metrics over this next couple of weeks here, okay? And so when you look at Palantir versus, let's say, a Salesforce or versus a Microsoft, it looks very rich. Forward P, 64 versus Salesforce is about 30, right? And versus Microsoft, which is about 33, 34. So we can call it Palantir's forward P is about double what Salesforce's is and what Microsoft's is, right? And then trailing 12 month, even a further stretch there. So it looks like maybe Palantir's a ripoff because I can get Salesforce in Microsoft for so much of a cheaper valuation. But you can't just look at it that simply. You need to also factor in growth rates. What are the growth rates of these companies? Okay. So one, Palantir is expected to significantly outgrow these companies when it comes to revenue this year. They're also expected to significantly outgrow these companies when it comes to revenue next year. Now keep in mind, these numbers are low compared to what I have. I think the company can way outgrow 19.6% next year. But you look at Salesforce next year, 9% revenue growth expected, and then Microsoft about 12 or 13%. So the fact is, Palantir should likely significantly outgrow Salesforce and Microsoft on top line revenue for honestly like this entire decade we're in right now. Like I don't see it being any other way. I just see every single year the revenue growth from Palantir is going to be far stronger than Salesforce or Microsoft. That does not mean Salesforce and Microsoft are bad businesses. They're just going to get far outgrown top line than Palantir. But that's just part of the story. The other part of the story is the bottom line, right? Because when we think about bottom line, that's where we start to think about forward PEs. That's where we start to think about earnings per share and whatnot, right? And guess what? Palantir is going to massively outgrow these companies in terms of earnings per share growth this year. They're also going to significantly outgrow these companies when it comes to EPS growth next year, right? Now, this takes analyst average. I think this number is way too low, way too low. This is taking analyst averages into account. I think the number is so low, it's going to look ridiculous next year, okay? I think it's going to be way higher earnings per share growth next year than where analysts are at. I think they'll probably outgrow these companies minimum 3x, but probably up to 6 or 7x the EPS growth rates of Salesforce and Microsoft next year as well. So they're going to likely way outgrow these companies revenue-wise and earnings per share-wise, which, guess what? If you're going to significantly outgrow these other competitors, which, once again, I don't even really consider Salesforce or Microsoft competitors, but if you want to compare them to companies, you're going to compare them to these sorts of companies, right? At the end of the day, I'm going to need to pay a significant multiple for far outgrowth, right? And it's not like this is just this year or next year. I mean, over the next 10 plus years, Palantir should significantly outgrow these companies' top line, bottom line as well, right? So the valuation case, I don't think stands up all that much, right? And you also think about like Palantir, Salesforce and Microsoft, these are pros at making money. They've been making significant amounts of money for 10 plus years now at this point in time. Microsoft goes back a lot longer than that. Palantir's still figuring out their sales teams, still figuring out the sales process. Like they're still early days in regards to this. Like imagine how good their sales teams are going to be, their systems are going to be when it comes to sales years from now. They've been so focused on the product over the years, right? And Karp even recently didn't sound like he's that happy with the sales team right now. So they still got so much room to go there, right? And even recently, CodeStrap had posted about this, right? And a few other people had posted about it as well in regards to now Palantir opening up. So basically you can sign up with just a credit card and a valid ID. And this is likely attracting a ton of developers, a ton of folks checking out the product, a ton of companies. And this is something that just has transpired really in the past 2 weeks, but people have been suggesting this. I know CodeStrap is one of those that these guys have been suggesting Palantir do something like this for years. It's not like this. It's just like, oh, you know, so the moral of the story is Palantir has a lot of room on the monetization front over this coming years, right? And so when I look at Palantir, I see 2023 and 2024 as like the sunrise years. The sun's just coming up over the ocean now at this point in time. It's just sunrise, right? And the day is going to be beautiful. And the day is 2025 through 2035. And there's a long way ahead in this company. And so I'll tell you what, it's positioned in a great way. And I think the returns will be very, very attractive over the coming years. Is Palantir the only stock in the market that's a buy? No, it's one of many. But yeah, for long-term investors, woo-wee, it's very, very attractive. Now, I have an entire big Palantir community built in the private group. We have a lot of folks that keep up to date with everything going on Palantir, sharing viewpoints, sharing articles, news, big news, small news, stuff that goes in the back page in the Palantir chat all the time. So if you want to join us in there and join the community, click the pinned comment down there, apply to join my private group. You obviously get access to all my course curriculums, teaching you everything I know up here as well. But that Palantir chat can be immensely valuable if you care about Palantir stock. You want to be part of a community like that of long-term investors that are focused on long-term. When I go through the Palantir chat and I'm chatting with folks, it's not really like short-term people talking about trying to day trade in and out of Palantir. That's not what we do. It's people focus on the long-term, what's the fundamentals of the company, and we got some of the brightest thinkers out there in regards to Palantir overall. A lot of people that have taught me a lot about the company when I was still trying to learn about this company back in like 2022. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Much love. Appreciate y'all joining me as always, and have a great day.